and welcome back to Sarah's Joyful Journey. I'm Sarah Joy, and this is Tea Tuesday, episode number 30. Let's go make our tea, and then we'll come back and I'll spill the tea on everything that's been going on in my life. So my tea is steeping in my beautiful Miranda Kerr Royal Albert Friendship mug in this minty green that I love. We're having hot cinnamon sunset because it's pretend fall outside here in Central Florida. So I am ready for some spicy tea. I am going to add a scoop of my keto brains to that as soon as it's done steeping. Well, let's go and spill the tea. I love this mug. It's so pretty. This is the back. And this is the front. I did recently order some more Royal Albert. It is on its way here. As I've talked about before, they have mugs like this in the 100 Years collection, and I was originally going to get those, but they had a sale and I had a voucher, and I ordered some teacups and saucers for the remaining 100 years that they just released. So I'm super excited to get those. Those should be here in time for me to share next week. If you watched my 75 soft challenge from the other day, you will saw that I scored another fantastic deal on a teapot. I left it out there. It was actually a tea set. It's a tea set that I had on my list that I have a little tea for one for, and the lady was selling it for 75 bucks. It's normally like 250 bucks. So I got another great deal on it and picked that up. She was in Claremont, which was awesome. So the last two teapots that I've scored have been at fantastic deals in Claremont. I've been able to pick up the same day that I found them. So that has been an awesome thing. The weather outside this week has been beautiful. It's been low 80s. In the morning, it's almost been chilly. So it's kind of like this false fall thing going on, and I'm loving it. So I have my hot cinnamon tea because I'm in a fall type mood. All right, 75 soft challenge, still going on. Still a struggle this week with exercise. I think that's gonna still be my struggle going forward, is just getting in the exercise. I am fairly consistent, but where I'm falling down is I can't necessarily get every day in. My work days are so long, so I can walk on Sundays, I can walk on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Those are my days off. Usually I can walk Friday morning because I'll have gone to bed at a decent early time on Thursday, so I am rested enough to get up early and go for a walk. And I can usually do that on Monday. Mondays can be hit or miss because if Sunday's super busy and I've got lots of errands and stuff to do, I don't necessarily get the rest that I would if I had 2 days off. But generally speaking, I can get up early on a Monday and plan for it. The problem becomes Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays, I get home and it's like 10. I'm in bed by like 10:30. Probably fall asleep closer to 11, but I still don't necessarily want to wake up at 5 a.m. I've been wanting to sleep till like 6:30. It becomes harder to get my walk in at that point. So I struggle. Not making excuses. It's just a struggle. I do try, and this week I wasn't successful. This week I missed 3 walking days. 3. Kind of, sort of 3. It's like 2.5. Because yesterday, technically, I went for a walk around the parking lot for about 10-15 minutes with my TL as we were doing our one-on-one team meeting. So I did get a bit of a walk in there. It registered on my watch throughout the day that I got 30 minutes of exercise. I'm calling it a win. I'm calling it a win. It's not the 45-minute walk I wanted, but I moved my body. Just not as much as I wanted, but it happens. I mean, that's just kind of sort of my life at this point, and my work days are definitely long because I do get up usually at about 5 a.m. Sometimes I do push it to 6, and then I work from 10:30 to 9 p.m. It takes me an hour to get home, sometimes longer, depending on traffic. Last night it took me longer to get home. I didn't get home till like 10:15. And then I do try to go to bed by 10:30, but sometimes my brain is still like wide awake and it takes me a little bit longer to wind down. So even if I get in bed at 10:30, I'm not necessarily falling asleep at 10:30. Sometimes it's closer to 11 or 11:15 before I'm probably starting to fall asleep. So that makes for an extremely long day. We're talking 19, 20-hour days at that point, which it does. It's just a challenge. And like I said, it's not an excuse. It's just my life, and I do the best with what I can right now. I am still planning to continue the 75 soft challenge. You're just not going to see the daily videos anymore, because starting with this episode of Tea Tuesday, I'm going back to my 3-video format. So Tea Tuesdays will premiere live at 7 a.m. So you can join in the chat, and then we will have a what I'm eating in the day video on Thursdays at 5 p.m. with live chat. And then Sundays we're going back to the meal prep, because I really enjoy doing those, and I have recently started doing themes with my meal prep, and I'm enjoying that even more because it's allowing me to get recipes in there. Not just, oh, this week I just made some keto chows, or I just cooked some, so it allows me some creativity to mix up my meal prep. So I'm still meal prepping, which I'm still helping set myself up for the week. But those will be on Sundays, and you'll see them at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with live chat. And I've picked a wonderful theme for this coming week, and I'm so excited to do it. And I hope that you guys will be excited about that as well. I will still try to do bonus videos when I can. We have my daughter's coming. I have a concert coming. I may end up vlogging a little bit of that. I don't know. I haven't decided. I don't know how much of that I'll be allowed to, if I'm even allowed to do anything like that. But we have, like I said, my daughter's coming. We're going to be doing Universal and Disney and the Christmas party and some things like that. So what I may do is I may just do a vlog of that whole time we spend together and release that as one thing. So there will be bonus videos from time to time as I get things done or I have a little extra time. But the main reason for this change, let me get some tea, is I'm going back to school. I have talked on this channel how I have been in PhD programs. PhDs, not attainable. I know I've talked about that, but I don't know how many of you see every video that I do, so I'm just briefly mentioning it here. But my current job has taught me a lot. My goals are still my goals, even after taking some time off and seeing, just like reassessing, because it's been almost a year, I think, since I last attempted a PhD program. My new job is better-ish in a lot of ways compared to Disney. I think I'll have a little bit more support just in my work life support, not necessarily support with school, but just work support will make a big difference. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But now's the time. And when I think about the whole big picture of getting a master's degree, which could take me 14 months, I still technically have the paralegal program. That was boring me and not interesting, so I am not finishing that. I am very much a person who needs to chase their passions, whether that be things like tea, books, bonsai. I have my things. I have my special interests, and I really like things to be around my special interests. I have a wide variety of special interests, but I pretty much stick to those special interests on things. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But psychology is definitely one of them. So I will be starting on October 28th, working on my master's in health psychology, because the last time I was in a PhD program, I did a huge project and I talked about it on this channel. And through that project, I was able to make a mission statement. Let's see if I can find it. I have it in this book somewhere. And this is like my notebook. So give me a second while I look for it. Okay, so this is my mission statement that came out of that last program. It outlines a lot of my goals for my life, this channel, and what I want to do with my psychology degree. So that is to inspire others. I did change it. It's mostly I want to inspire women, but it really is, I want to inspire others. I want to help other people. Mostly women, just because I am a woman, so I can identify easily with a woman, and we face similar issues being women. That does not mean that I don't want to help a man, because I would definitely do it. It's just different. I, of course, will learn skills on how to help from a health and wellness point of view to help men, but I think that it'll be something that, for me personally, I'll just be a little bit weaker in, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my mission statement is to inspire others to improve their health and empower them to live full and active lives while creating a community of support and kindness. So this channel feeds right into that. It's about creating a community where we are supporting each other and we're kind to each other. We're weaving together relationships and friendships and things like that. I also want to be able to help people get to their goals. This includes in the aspect of coaching. I know I've talked about it on and off since I started this channel. And this channel is just over is going on a year old, a year and a half old. These are still my goals. And this program will let me get to my goals in a way that I actually think is achievable. It's a big scary picture, but it's 10 classes. There's 2 stats classes. I will be crying and I will be wanting to quit when those come. I have 7 psych classes and a capstone project. This is a different format than I've ever done in school. I have done adult education, online education, and this is going to be online, but the classes are 8 weeks. It's one-on-one. It's me and a professor. There is no discussion boards, which makes me happy. Discussions boards are the bane of my existence. I don't like them. I think they're pointless. I understand why they get assigned, especially in an online community. It gives you a chance to interact with your peers and get to know your peers and build a relationship with your peers, all of which are important things. Not saying they're not. But I'm 46 years old. I just want to get my degree and get it done. And I feel that this format is going to allow me to do that and get it in a manner that works for me. I am used to 8-week classes. I have no idea what the expectations are for each class. I have no idea at this point. I'm just going to kind of find out when I dive in the first class. So my focus is 1 class at a time. According to the schedule, the first one should be an introduction to health psychology. So pretty easy. And then I think I have another psychology class after that, then a stats class, and then like a couple of electives, and then my other stats class, and then I'll finish up the rest of my psych classes and do my capstone project. I'm going to work very hard not to give in to feelings of quitting, because I know that they're going to come. But this program is very achievable and very doable. It is 1 class at a time. I can suck it up. I can do it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because it won't be. It will definitely not be easy, but it'll be worth it. And it'll get me where I want to go. It can also allow me to, you never know, maybe my firm is looking at hiring somebody who works more on a wellness standpoint and helping employees have a better work-life balance. That is something that I can do with a health psychology degree. So that doesn't mean that I will stay at my company forever. It doesn't mean that I won't stay at my company forever. But I know that I definitely want to get into health coaching. I would love to be able to get into public speaking, even though that terrifies me, because I'm not a person who likes to stand in the limelight and have everybody's attention all on me. I am definitely not that person. I'm very introverted, but I'm outgoing. And sometimes if you approach me and I'm not, I can come off a little aloof, but I think that's just like my autism. It just kind of like gives me a little, and once I get relaxed enough, I can usually engage pretty easy. And I do push myself out of my comfort zone all the time, because if I had my way, I wouldn't really do this channel. I would just exist in a quiet little corner all by myself. I probably wouldn't have friends. That is my nature. That is not life though. That is not living life to its fullest. And I know this. So I do push myself out of my comfort zone and share about my life, even though it's not always easy for me, but I do enjoy it because I know that my story is unique, but my story can help you with your story because you can identify with something, you can see what I'm struggling with, where I'm successful, and I can inspire you to be successful in your journey. I could give you ideas. Maybe you see something from a different perspective because you saw something that I said and you never thought about it from that way, and that clicks something in your brain and helps you. That's what this is all about for me. It's not about drawing attention to myself or anything like that. Now, I do like to talk about my passions, especially when it comes to Tea Tuesday, because I love it and I enjoy talking about those things. They're very much who I am. And on this channel, I am real. I am who I am, and I don't hide it. I don't put on a face. I'm not faking it for this channel. This is who I am, and it's important for me to be real, because if I'm not real, I cannot make those real connections that I desire to make through this avenue in my life. So I'm super excited to get started on it. Very nervous at the same time. It'll all work out somehow. There's just going to be probably a lot of tears, and things will have to change, and I'll have to roll with it as I go along with it. And one thing this year has taught me is that while I still cannot stand change, and change still makes me very anxious, I can do it. I don't think there's one thing that's pretty much stayed the same for the most part with this year. I've had so much change in my life, so much change this year, that my head is kind of still spinning. So that was like, well, I've already had a lot of change. Might as well go ahead and throw some school on there too. So that was kind of the process. I could have waited, and I was originally thinking of waiting a little bit. However, they offered me the opportunity to apply for a scholarship that would cut my tuition in half if I started on the 28th. Still don't know if I got that scholarship. It's fine if I don't. I'm getting a hefty military discount for being a military spouse, which is helpful. This is also a non-for-profit school, not-for-profit school. So their tuition tends to be a little bit lower anyway. And all their teaching staff is doctoral. They all have their doctorates, which is kind of cool. And it's a one-on-one format. They start every week. So it'll be more kind of like, here's your list. This is your materials. All the materials, I pay a fee for each class, but they're all included. It's like $130 worth of books and materials, which is convenient because then I don't have to go out and order it. The only downside is they're going to be all digital, but I'll make do. I have my iPad, which if I have to upgrade, I'll upgrade, but that should allow me to do it. My husband still has a laptop, so if I have to do anything on the laptop, I still have that ability, but I'm going to try to do almost everything on my iPad. Probably won't be able to type papers on the iPad. I've tried before. It just doesn't work. Discussions boards, yes, I can do. Papers, not so much. But that's just a small thing that I'll need the laptop for. Wait, I did get on the scale. I am still maintaining 2 to 3 pounds that I've lost for this month, which puts me between 5 and 6 lost in the past 2 months. I still have, another week and a half, almost 2 weeks before the end of the month. So hopefully I will drop that other pound and maybe an additional pound. I'm just not putting stress on losing weight super quick. I want to focus on healthy habits and eating the best that I can, getting as much as movement as I can. And if weight comes off fantastic. That's great, because I still want to lose it, but I also know right now I do have a lot of change and I do have a lot of stress, and that's not the priority. So the priority is focusing on my sleep, managing my sleep as best as I can, eating as well as I can, drinking enough water, and getting my movement. Weight comes after that. If it happens naturally, that's awesome. So that is still going really, really well. Talked about the changes in the schedule, talked about school. Work has been good. This is something that's a very different job for me. Even though it's very similar to a job I used to have, it's very different. And there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving pieces. And I'm a person who I find secured, I find confidence when I have security. Like if I know something as thoroughly as I could know it, doesn't mean that I need to be perfect, because I'm not shooting for perfection here. But if I am comfortable with how things operate, this is the knowledge, it's up here, it's tied in, then I build confidence. So right now I have a lot of knowledge, and in certain aspects I have a lot of confidence. And other aspects, that confidence is just not there yet because I'm still learning this job. There's a lot to it. I did have some skills removed from me. I no longer have to take child sex abuse calls, sex, rape, and molestation calls, and I think there's one other that I can't take because it often involves that, but I don't remember which one that is. But it's been helpful. I don't have to look up at my screen and see the call type coming in, which is not always accurate, by the way, but I don't have to see that and then instantly panic as soon as I see one of those skills. I did have a call this week that came in as general liability. It was not. It ended up being a sex abuse case, which was fine. I just gathered a tiny bit of information, made the intake, and said, thank you so much. I need to get you to the proper department to help you. I'm not that person. Didn't say why, because it's none of their business. And I don't want to tell them, because then if I say, well, I can't help you because you're sex abuse, I can't handle that, that just doesn't set a good tone. So I would never do that to a person, but I just said that I can't handle that, as in me personally, I'm not able to, whatever, they can think whatever they want. They don't have to know exactly the reason why. And I was able to transfer it to the other department, which was good because I need to remember how to do that, because it will happen sometimes. You know, people aren't perfect, and sometimes, you know, the people who answer our calls, they have 15 seconds where they're trying to get the information and transferring it to the right skill. So they don't have a lot of time, so mistakes can happen, and I never hold that against them. And usually they're pretty good. But yeah, so that has been helpful. I love that this team that I'm on is supportive. I think all the teams are going to be very similar to this. I don't know because I'm not on them, but we have one-on-one meetings every single month. I love that. That's the way to get feedback. It's a way to help with growth. It's a way to catch issues that could be arising and correct those sooner. And it's fantastic. It's also helping me right now because I don't have a lot of confidence all the time. And it helps. It's nice to know that when I need it, it's there. I have support. I have someone who really is concerned about me growing in the workplace, me feeling comfortable in the workplace, me getting things figured out and all that kind of stuff. They want that. And that is very, very different from how Disney operates. It makes my head spin still sometimes because I'm still not used to it. It was funny because I had a call earlier this week where the lady called me stupid. And it happens at Disney. It's happened so many times. I don't like it, but it's kind of one of those things where you like hear it and it's right out the ear on the other side. Most of the time, that's how that gets me. If I'm feeling super emotional, it will hurt more. If you keep doing it, it will hurt more. But most of the time it's in one ear, out the other. And I made a comment after the call because the call got disconnected and I had to call the person. I said, well, that's not going to be fun because she's not going to be happy to talk to me. She thinks I'm stupid. And it was just a comment. I was not upset or anything. And my TL was like, wait, she called you stupid? She's not allowed to do that. Did you give her a warning? I'm like, no, I just kind of let it roll because it didn't really even faze me. It did not affect me. And he goes, I understand it didn't affect you. But however, if it happens again, you need to say something to him because they are not allowed to treat you like that. And that literally makes my head spin because that's not how Disney operates. Disney says they operate that way, but they do not, because oftentimes somebody will come up to you screaming and throwing a fit and they know they get rewarded for it. And Disney does reward that behavior. So even if I escalate it to a higher up at Disney, oftentimes I will get undermined and they won't say anything about, oh, you can't treat my cast member this way. Most of the time they don't. They say they will, but often it doesn't happen. So it's very weird to be in a job where they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. And it happened where somebody was using racist terms and slurs and derogatory language while on a call. They weren't directing it at the agent. But they reached out and they said, hey, is this okay? And then RTL was like, no, you need to, if we can't say it, they can't say it. Warn them, and if they continue, you can disconnect. And I was like, that is like absolutely fabulous that we have some control in that. I am so used to Disney where we don't really have any control. There's really nothing that we can do. And it can paralyze you in a lot of ways. And I think that it really did affect me. Having to do that for 5 years, I pretty much had to learn to take stuff and not deal with it the way that I would have liked to deal with it, because I had no authority to do that. I had no power to do that. And I didn't realize how much that affected me until I got in this job, and things like this little incident where this lady is calling me stupid. I should have warned her, but that was not my first reaction. My first reaction was just, don't let it upset you, let it go. Just don't let it upset you, let it go, because you can't do anything about it anyway. And so yeah, it's very, very different. It is hard. It's not a complicated job to perform. It's an emotionally draining job, though. It does affect your emotions because every call has a negative connotation. Because they're calling, they're hurt. That's what we do. We do personal injury. They're hurt in some way. So you have to identify with them, and I can do that and stuff like that. But there are calls that are tougher. And it does affect me. And I think that's where getting extra sleep really helps me, and why I struggle with walking, because there's days where I'm just tired and I just need more sleep just to help reset my brain. But that's not a bad thing either. It's just the way it is. All right. I did get new bonsai. I talked about them on the 75 soft challenge. I have this one, I have that one, and I have that one, and there's one more down over there. I have some soil coming today. I did order some new pots, and I got this one. I repotted it last week, and it's gonna get repotted again because I actually think that this pot is too small, and this tree may not make it. It's already stressed because it lost all its leaves. This is William. I love this pot, and I really do want to find a little tree that can fit in this little pot, but I think William's root base is literally this whole pot. So I am going to replant him into this pot when the rest of my soil comes. I thought this pot was bigger. I was kind of disappointed when it came because of that. Plus, I didn't realize it was coming from overseas. I tend not to buy things overseas if I can do it. I've not had good experience with that, and I'll explain more about that in a little bit. But it's a little pot, but it's pretty. I loved that this represents, it's very Japanese, which is also very bonsai. This is reminiscent of that famous Japanese painting, which I think is beautiful. So I'm gonna replant him in this pot, and I think he'll do much better. He was in a bigger pot and he was flourishing, and then I decided that I just wanted to use that small pot, and I thought he'd fit, and I don't think it does. And then this pot I bought because it was purple and I wanted a purple bonsai pot, and purple bonsai pots are extremely hard to find. This one's not quite a bonsai pot. It does have drainage. It has some. It's not like a super well draining, but I think it'll be okay. But it's beautiful. It's this bluey purple. It's handmade. The only thing I don't like about it is like these spots where the glaze didn't stick, but I can appreciate it because it is all handmade and hand done, and it's pretty. It's a pretty pot. So Jubilee, my brush cherry, is going to go in that pot as soon as the soil gets here, which the soil will be here sometime today. So that is going to be my plans when that comes. Speaking of things that come from China, I had a company reach out to me for some athletic wear. It's been about 3 weeks now. I haven't mentioned it because I wanted to wait for the items to get here. The company is called Charms Active. They started pursuing me, and they left comments on every 75 short I made. I ended up not making those shorts anymore because they literally commented on every one. So there were red flags and warning flags. That was just weird. After about the third time they said something, I was like, well, you never know. I do need some new activewear. I'll see what they're offering. So they were offering things like if I bought 5 pieces, they would design a collection with me, and I could get 25% off, and then I can offer you guys a discount, I think a 10 or 15% discount. Got all that information. Something told me, wait. They had a legit website. It was connected with Shopify. It was connected with PayPal. But there were inconsistencies that I was not happy about. But I did it anyway because I know with PayPal, there's at least a level of security with that where you have some resources to be able to get your money back. So I took a chance. I ordered the sizes that, based on my size, I normally wear an extra large to a large, depending, a little bit more extra large than large, but I can do some larges. There were no size charts on the website, so I was nervous right there because I was like, got the stuff. Their extra large is a US size 8. I am a 14. It ain't gonna fit. I ordered 5 items. I received 3. So I did not reach out directly to the company, which I probably should have, obviously. But like I said, even after I agreed to purchase things from them, and I did not purchase a small amount of money. We're talking just over $200 worth of stuff that I bought after the discount. So not cheap stuff. The stuff that came was not even branded for them. There was no consistency in the sizing. So I reached out to PayPal last night, and I'm in the process of trying to get my money back. I don't know if I'll be successful. They asked if I was willing to ship the items I got back. And technically I am, but I did say no just because it's cost prohibitive for me to ship it back to China. I have not had good luck with Shein or Temu or anything like that. I know others do not have a problem with them, and that's fine. You continue using it if you're happy with it. I was not happy with them, and this new company I am definitely not happy about at all. Very, very predatory in a lot of ways, because if you reach out to me and you want to work with me, that's cool. That's cool. I'll evaluate it. I'll say yes or no. In this case, I said yes. But you continued every video I posted, every short I posted, you continued to say, reach out to me, reach out to me, reach out to me. At about the 4th time after I'd already purchased, so we're talking 4 or 5 days later, they're still trying to say, hey, reach out. We want to work with you. We want to work with you. I made a comment of, thank you so much. I did respond to you. I was ordered some things. I'm excited to get them. You would think that that would stop them. It did not. So I did stop making the shorts for the 75 soft challenge. I may go back to them in another day or two, just as a way to have super short daily interactions so you can see a daily thing on how I'm doing with this challenge, since I'm not going to have the longer daily videos on this channel. I haven't decided that yet. So it was very disappointing to get the items and just see that they were definitely not what they claimed to be. I hope I can get my money back. I really hope I can get my money back. Because like I said, $200 is it's not a lot of money, but it's definitely not like an insignificant amount of money either. I could have spent that $200 on books. I could have spent that $200 on athletic clothing that would have actually fit me. And I wanted it to be something, and it didn't end up being something. And that's fine. You kind of learn sometimes through trial and error. And I am very selective anyway on what companies I do have affiliates with. I do like them to be companies that I use their products. If I'm not happy with their products, I'm not going to promote it. And I was of 2 minds if I should mention this company, but it was such a learning experience for me that I wanted to share about it, because you may come across this company and you need to know about it too, very not heavier person friendly, or even average size person friendly. Because in what planet is an extra large a US size 8? That is so drastically different. And you have no size charts. You just say extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. That was literally the biggest size. And not everything went up to an extra large. So I just was very disheartened by it, especially because you can tell I'm not a super small person. I'm not. No shame in that. I tend to be a little fluffy still. A lot less fluffy than I was, and I'm happy about that, but I am not a tiny person. You can see that. So now it's just like, I really just made the whole situation feel even more predatory, and like I got ripped off and scammed. We'll see. I may have. It'll be a learning lesson. Because even though I'm careful about everything, I could have been more careful. I took a chance, and I even talked to my husband about it, and he goes, well, you can take a chance. He goes, it could go either way. It could be a small company who's just starting out and they're amazing, or it could be a small company and they just are really out to get you. But because we both felt, because PayPal does have protections in place for that, that it was a calculated risk. And I still feel that it was a calculated risk. So if I don't get my money back, like I said, it was a calculated risk that I took. Yeah, but it's still just not fun that happened. All right, I've rambled a lot and I still have more to go. I did actually get some knitting done. Not a whole lot, but I did get some done. And several of you have reached out and said how much you like the knitting part of this and how much you like the book parts. So those are both going to stay in. I don't know how much of either I'm going to get done while at school. I can read at work. I won't be able to read my school books because they'll be electronic. I'm not allowed to have electronics at my desk because of cameras, and it would provide an opportunity to get and steal people's personal information. I personally would never do that, and so would most people, but they don't want that appearance there, and I can accept that. So I started this sock last week. So I've had it at work for like, I brought it with me. I went back on Monday. Was it Monday? Was it this Monday? It might have been this Monday, because I was out last Saturday. So it was. I've had this sock at work for a week. Before I got to work, I had done just the cuff. So from here to here is all the knitting I've done in between calls at work. And I don't always work on this. Like during my 10-hour day, I'll work on this for a few hours during calls. Sometimes it'll be the whole day during calls, or not during calls, in between calls. So I got a lot done in not a lot of time. I think I'm really close to the heel. I'm going to measure it out. I have to decide what type of heel I want, because that'll depend on if I just keep knitting and I do an afterthought heel, which is kind of what I'm leaning for, and then I'll just keep knitting and it'll go back to work with me, and I'll just remember to bring it home on Saturdays so I can show you on Sundays when I am recording this for Tea Tuesday. So yeah, quite a bit of socks. This may end up being most of my knitting. But we'll see. I'm still going to try to work on my sweater, and I did get a little bit of work done on my sweater this week. And I want to work more on it today. I have some errands to do, and then I'm going to put on an audiobook and just listen. I'm also going to try and get some spinning done today, because I want to be able to do that. But again, I don't know how that's going to go. But my hand was achy the other day because I think it was on Thursday. I worked on this sweater for a couple hours. It's an easy-ish sweater, but it's fine yarn and it goes kind of slow. I was probably about there before. So I've done a couple inches, and this is the back of the sweater. And again, I'm not a super small person, so this is not a tiny piece. This is like, I don't know, 25, 26, 28, somewhere in there inches. So I have got it up to the part in the back. I didn't grab my iPad, otherwise I'd show you the pattern again. But in the back, they're starting a cable section, and I just got the first couple rows done. I haven't done the actual cable crosses, but so this is going up, getting towards the underarms. Probably in another like 3 or 4 inches of knitting, I will be shaping the underarms and getting this back done. So I did plug in. I still love it. I still cannot wait to wear it. It's just gonna be super slow, and I'm knitting a smaller size than I actually thought that I was making. It should fit. If it doesn't, I am consistently losing 3 pounds-ish a month now I'm going on month 2, and I think that as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm still gonna consistently lose 2 to 3 pounds a month, maybe more, depending. But again, I'm not putting my focus at losing weight. It's maintaining health at this point, and weight loss is the added bonus. So yeah, I did get a little knitting, and I'm hoping that with school, I'll be able to keep Sundays off so that I at least have one day a week where I can just be me. That may not be possible with my work schedule. I won't know until I get into my classes and I start figuring it out. So things will just be a little different for then. Bookies. Books. Looking at my notes. Okay, so I finished. Where did I put it? Oh, the other thing I did with my books, and I don't know if I'm going to like it, but it's there for now. All my sprayed edge books are together. You're not alphabetized, but I had all my books out. If they were by the same author, they were together. But I organized them by size. So today I took everything off the shelves because it needed to be dusted and cleaned anyway. And I alphabetized them. I have a stand over here where it starts with A's, and it moves on to this plant stand, and then it moves on to my other thing. But I also have, I ordered 6 more books the other day. I've gotten a whole lot of Kindle books for free this week, and I'm going to the bookstore today. I have 6 floating shelves coming. They're like little invisible ones that are just about the size of a book that I'll be able to stack books on like this so that you can see. And they're going to be going throughout the room. And then I have a set of floating shelves, 3 of them, that are going to go either behind the wall behind my bed, at the head of my bed, or off to the side, so that I have more room for more books. I don't know what I'll do when I run out of that. I'll figure it out as I go. I might kick my husband out of the house and he can go get his own house, and then I'll just have the whole house of books. I'm kidding. If you don't realize I'm kidding, there's definitely a problem, because obviously I'm not kicking my husband out. As much as it would be happy to have more room to have more books, but for now that's not an option. But back to book talk. So I finished this book. I loved this book. I have learned there is a difference between spice and smut. This one blurs that line. Some might consider it super spicy. This definitely went into the smut territory. And I'm trying not to blush because I shouldn't be embarrassed about it. But I loved this book. So this book is about a young man. He's like 28, 29. He is a priest. He became a priest because he wanted to change the priesthood because his sister was abused by a priest and ended up committing suicide. So he wants to change it. So he has a heart of gold. And he meets a woman, and he gets lost in sin. Because of course, priests take a vow of chastity. She challenges that. So in a lot of ways, it was kind of very taboo. But I also liked that it made the whole situation very real. Because I'm sorry, if you take a vow of chastity, it's going to be challenged. You're going to have to face it. And you're going to have to make decisions. That's kind of what this was about. With a lot of spice, bordering on smut thrown in. And at one point you think the story is not going to end well. And your heart is crushed for this guy. And it is, the girl's perspective is in here, but it's a very few. This book is from the priest's perspective, as you would expect it to be with the title, which is not something I typically read. Like, I'll read dual points of view. I love dual points of view, but oftentimes a book written by a woman, or even sometimes books written by men, but usually not many that I've come across, are written from a female point of view. Because we're female, we understand that point of view because that is our point of view. This one is from his. And I think that's what really sold me on this book. There's other books in this series. I have not decided if I want to read them. They're kind of like spin-offs, like, of characters from this book. So I might. But I also kind of really loved this one as it was. So I don't know that I want to change a little bit. The next one I believe is called Saint, and Sinner are the other two. So I may get them at some point, but right now it's not a focus. But I loved it. Absolutely loved this one. Then I've got to power up my Kindle so I can get this up. I read one on a Kindle, which again, kind of bordered. No, this one really kind of just, I don't know. It crossed into a subject matter I was not sure I was comfortable with. But I liked the book, the plot of the book, enough to push through the book. Let me see if I can find it. Like I said, it was a Stuff Your Kindle day for fantasy, romance fantasy, and stuff like that. This weekend, today was the last day. So by the time you see this, it'll be over. And I got like 30 books because I didn't have to pay for them. Oh, I must have returned it because it was a Kindle Unlimited book. Yeah, I returned it. And I didn't write down the name. It's in my other book. The book was called Killer of Mine. It was a reverse harem. I don't think that's my thing. I just don't think that's my thing. I will say that in that book, it was handled in a way that didn't like make me like really, really uncomfortable until the very end of the book. And at that point, I was already committed to the book, so I just went with it. But what I liked about it, it was, she was the daughter of a serial killer, and she ran away, and she became a cop, and she wanted to work with the behavioral analysis unit, like in Criminal Minds. So, and that's what this group of guys, they are the behavioral analysis unit. And so I was stuck into the story of her chasing her father and trying to get her father, and the twists and turns of she's a twin sister and they were both named the same thing. And it was weird. So I enjoyed the psychological aspect of that book more than I enjoyed like the spice and smut in that book. So yeah, I'm glad I read it, but it was different. It was not my thing, but it was not so overdone in that theme, that trope of reverse harem, that I was uncomfortable. Because if I was super uncomfortable, I would have just pitched the book and I would not have read it. I would have just said, this is not something that I enjoy. This is not something for me. And I would have left. I would have abandoned the book, which is fine because I will not judge people for what they read. I don't really want to be judged for what I'm reading. I mean, if you're judging me, that I can't stop you from doing that. But I'll be honest with what I read. If you don't like it, that's fine too. So then, yeah, I finished. Now for Priest, I listened to it and on Everand. And I've talked about that app before. And I know I said that I was going to dump it. I'm actually not. After my month trial, I found that there are more and more audiobooks popping up, and I think that I'll be able to keep it for a while. And it's nice because I don't own the books, so I'm actually using it to listen to books that I do own the books of, and I can do that. So I've done that. And then what I'm currently doing, I mentioned that I got this one in another video. This was last Wednesday when I went and I bought a bunch of books. And I bought even more since then. They're just not all here yet. But anyway, this one is cute. This one was all over TikTok. There's 3 books in the series. I talked about it a little bit in my shorts. I'm about halfway through, I think. I'm almost halfway through with this one. It's super cute. Small town, romance, grumpy sunshine, which I love. And it's definitely fall and fall themed. There's talks of ghosts, but it's cute ghost. It's like she thinks she's being haunted by a ghost, and she takes over the cafe for her aunt, and it ends up being a cat, a white cat. So she names it Casper. And then they've got pumpkin spice lattes, and they've got apple picking, and it's literally like fall through up in this book. You're reading a Hallmark movie. That's the perfect way to describe this book. It's reading a Hallmark movie, and I love them. So that is not a dig. That is not a smack. That is not that. I am very much enjoying this book that I'm listening to. Still plugging away, still working. Yesterday was so slow. There were several times where there was 20 minutes in between calls. I did not bring the book that I wanted to read. I brought it with me, but I was going to read it in the car, and I didn't bring it into the building. I just didn't bring it into the building. I brought this one in, and I read over 100 pages. The book is getting really, really good. So where this sticky tab is where I started. That's how much I read yesterday. That's a lot. I am on like page 300, and there's like 300 or 419. So I have 120 pages left in this book. It is getting better, and I am glad that I'm sticking with it. It is still not quite holding my attention the way that others do, and that's fine because, like I said, I read multiple books at a time. This one just kind of goes to work, and it's fine that it's slow because I just take it slow. And then I have my audiobooks. And then this is the next book that I'm going to read. This one is going to be challenging too. There's some trigger warnings. I was intrigued enough to pick it up and buy it. Everybody talks about it on TikTok, and it's supposed to be very good. So I took a shot, got it. I also ordered, there's 9 books in the series. I ordered the first 6. So this is the book number 1. I have it. But I ordered the first 6 with beautiful sprayed edges. They were on sale. And I am such a sucker for a sprayed edge. And special edition books are really like capturing my attention right now. So I think I'll like it. It's Mafia. It'll be different. It's going to be a little dark. But I like things a little dark. I don't know why. I just do. And there's no apologies for that. So I will be starting this soon. And then I'll have a whole bunch of other books to go through. I did get a recommendation, and I've read 5 pages in this book. But everybody at work was talking about The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. There's 19 books in this series. It's a small book. It's supposed to take like 5 hours. I can't bring my Kindle to work unless I'm using it in the break room. I'm not allowed to have it out on my desk because it's electronic. And even though it doesn't have a camera, they don't want the appearance that it could be something with a camera. So I can't bring it and keep it at my desk. But yeah, I started The Dresden Files last night. Literally got like 3 pages in because I was just super tired. So yeah, so we're going to give that a try. That I ordered, one of my coworkers loves to read. And is just having some struggles and some challenges and hasn't been able to afford any books. So I bought him some books last night. He was talking about what he was reading and how he's in series and how he needs the next books of these in these series, but they were just gonna have to wait just because he couldn't afford to get them right now. So I wrote that down and I made a comment. I was like, oh wait, what do you like to read? And he's like, oh, do you happen to have this book? I knew I didn't have the book, but I said, well, I'll look and I'll see if I have it, knowing that I'd already decided that I was going to go to the bookstore and buy him some books. I ended up ordering it on Amazon for him. Not that book. I ended up ordering him a different, because the book that he was talking about, the series he was talking about, is a series I do want. I've tried to read the first book. I don't know where the first book went. I think I have some of the other books. I'm not sure. I'd have to go and look. They'd be in the closet. I might have gotten rid of them. Which all my knitting and my health books and my dog books are all either in the closet or under my end table nightstand that I've got. All my novels are what are over here and mostly displayed. But I have a lot more books than that. But it's a prequel. The last official book is a prequel, and I don't know if he read it in a different order, because some people do, and I didn't want to buy that book and then have him go, oh, I already read that one. You know, that would just been, to me, that would have been disappointing. I would have been heartbroken. So I chose not to do that. And then he wanted 3 of the books in the middle of the Dresden series. And I was going to buy those 3 books, and I found them on Amazon. Well, the problem was 2 could get here on Monday and 1 wouldn't get here till Wednesday. And then I wouldn't be able to give him till Thursday. So the books I ordered him are for the Dune House trilogy. He had the first book. So I got them the last 2 books. And they will be here on Monday. So I'm going to let him know when I go to work on Monday, hey, I got some books for you. I'm going to bring them to you tomorrow. I'm just waiting for them to get here. Here you go. Here's a nice gift. So yeah, I'm super excited to do that and share that, because I mean, reading is my source of entertainment. And I saw a need that I could meet. And I've always been one of those people where if you see a need and it's something that you can meet it, whether you're asked to or not. So I am going to bless him with that and make him very, very happy. All right. If you watched one of my 75 soft videos, you'll know that I have done a small giveaway. So thank you. I had 4 people enter the giveaway for this book. I wrote down all 4 names, and to make it easy, instead of, I assigned those 4 names a number, and I used a random number generator. If it was a bigger drawing, I would have added more. I would have done the piece of paper and pulled the piece of paper out. I would have done something to verify that you guys could see that I drew who I said I was going to draw, but it was 4 people. I will tell you, I did use a random number generator. I did not manipulate this drawing in any way. So if you feel like I did, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm an honest person, and I'm going to be honest. But Risa's Cluttered Kitchen, you are the winner of this book. So if you send me an email at sarah@sarahsjoyfuljourney.com, it's going to be on my website, which will also be linked down in this video. There's a contact form on there that you're welcome to fill out, or I'll make sure my email address is attached in this one as well, so that you can reach out to me. If you know another avenue where you want to reach out to me, because I know you know several ways to get a hold of me, you're welcome to use whatever method works for you. Just let me know that you saw this and your address, and I will get this in the mail to you, hopefully this week, if not for sure next week. And I hope that you enjoy this book. I have yet to read it. It's one that I plan on starting soon-ish. We'll see. It might take me a lot longer, but I do want to share the love of a book. And the last thing before I get off on this video, which is going to be way longer than I normally anticipate, I have picked my November reading challenge. And since it is almost November, I'm going to share that with you. As I've mentioned many, many times, I am a sucker for sprayed edges. I currently in my possession have like 17 or 18, and I think I have like 6 to 12 more coming. So yeah, November, I'm reading everything. Every book I read, physically read, will have a sprayed edge. I might try to listen to some of the ones that have sprayed edges on, but I'm not going to guarantee that because it just depends on what is available on Audible or on Everand. But yeah, that's my November challenge for reading. We'll see how much I actually get done. My goal is for November is to read a minimum of 4 books. I think I can accomplish that. It seems realistic, even with school. But I won't know until I try. And who knows, maybe I'll get more. I've been reading an average 10 to 14 books. It's usually right around 12 that I'm managing to get. I am trying to take better notes so that I can make shorts and show you guys everything at the end of the month, how many books I actually read. But I do have a busy life and sometimes I forget. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up episode 32 of Tea Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me and just spending this time with me, just hearing all about all the crazy things that go on in my life and allowing me to share a little snippet of my life with you. I will see you again on Thursday for what I'm eating in a day video. Have a wonderful and joyful day. Bye for now.